stop buying bad monitors. Let's get you the best 1440p gaming monitor 2023. Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. There has never been a better time to buy a 1440p gaming monitor than right now at every budget level. Whether you're looking for the best budget 1440p gaming monitor, the best 240Hz 1440p gaming monitor, or the best OLED 1440p gaming monitor, there are excellent products at every budget level. So we'll cover everything that you need to know to buy the best 1440p gaming monitor in 2023, and we'll make specific product recommendations at every budget level. If you get value out of the video, please give it a like because it really helps out the channel, and of course subscribe, click that bell icon, that way you get notified when we release cool content. With that, let's jump into it. So why is 2023 the year of the 1440p gaming monitor? Well, simply put, the current crop of mid-range and even some budget GPUs are capable of playing most titles at 1440p at relatively good frame rates, with even 240Hz 1440p no longer reserved for just the highest end graphics cards. We've also seen updates to the PS5, which now allow it to use 1440p native resolution, along with the Xbox Series X and Series S. At the same time, we've seen prices for 1440p game monitors fall drastically since last year, with budget models beginning around $250 and some models even lower. We've also seen the prices of 4K game monitors fall sharply to a starting point of about $500, which has put downward pressure on 1440p gaming monitor prices. For those with more money to spend, we've also seen the introduction of a wide array of OLED 1440p gaming monitors, both in ultra-wide and regular widescreen aspect ratios, and with some of them having refresh rates up to 240Hz, and they currently begin in price just above $900 US. Let's briefly go over the key specs that you need to understand to find the best 1440p gaming monitor in 2023. So at this resolution, there are three main aspect ratios. There's widescreen gaming monitors, which are 16:9 or 16 pixels wide for every 9 pixels in height. Ultra-wide gaming monitors are 21:9 or 21 pixels wide for every 9 pixels in height. And super ultra-wide gaming monitors, like the Samsung Odyssey G9, are 32:9. Note that consoles like the Xbox Series X do not provide much support for ultra-wide or super ultra-wide gaming monitors, so I would only consider those for PC gaming. Then we have refresh rate, which you can think of as how many frames per second, or FPS, that your monitor can actually display. This number is listed in Hertz or 8Z. Gaming monitors start around 120 to 144 Hz, but the best 1440p gaming monitors go up to 240Hz and beyond. Remember that refresh rate is just the maximum that your monitor can display, and you still need a graphics card capable of putting out that level of FPS at 1440p as well. And of course, console owners are limited to 120Hz, so don't overspend if buying a 1440p gaming monitor for the PS5, Xbox Series X or S. If you're a PC gamer, what GPU do you need for 1440p gaming? Well, at a minimum, I recommend an AMD GPU of at least an RX 6600 XT, an NVIDIA GPU of at least an RTX 3060, or an Intel Arc A750. Now in 2023, VRAM has also been an issue with new AAA titles like The Last of Us Part 1, Hogwarts Legacy, Forspoken, and other upcoming titles. If you want to play these titles on release at high or even ultra settings, I recommend at least 10 GB of VRAM with 12 GB preferred. For the very high refresh rate 1440p gaming monitors around 240Hz, those looking to play an ultra-wide gaming monitor, or those looking to play on multiple monitors, I would recommend jumping up at least one, possibly two tiers of GPU performance. So an NVIDIA RTX 4070 or AMD RX 6800 or higher GPU. Now we cover all this in much more depth in our Best GPU for Gaming 2023 video, so I'll leave a link to that in the video description. What about console gamers on the PS5, Xbox Series X, or Xbox Series S? With the early 2023 update to the PS5, the great news is that all of these consoles now fully functional at 1440p and will do 120Hz. They still need HDMI 2.0 or higher to get that refresh rate. In terms of raw performance, in particular, I recommend 1440p for the Xbox Series S, as it's a bit weaker than the other two consoles, but performs well at 1440p. Let's talk about IPS versus VA versus OLED panel types for 1440p gaming. OLED, it's the new kid on the block in terms of panel type. And while the cost has come down, it's still quite pricey. But if you are looking for amazing picture quality and incredible HDR gaming, along with instantaneous response times, it simply can't be beat, though those panels currently begin around the $900 US mark. For those of you looking for mainstream gaming monitors, both IPS and VA panels, they're still amazing at much cheaper prices, but not really capable of HDR gaming. Note that most curved monitors use a VA panel, while most flat monitors use an IPS panel. Let's talk about AMD FreeSync versus NVIDIA G-Sync. The great news is that this is no longer a complicated topic in 2023 for the best 1440p gaming monitor. Both FreeSync and G-Sync, they're technologies that sync your monitor refresh rate and your GPU or console output to avoid screen tearing during gaming. Now, virtually every 1440p gaming monitor in 2023 comes with at least AMD FreeSync, as it's a cheaper technology. All modern NVIDIA GPUs can utilize FreeSync as long as you use the DisplayPort cable when connecting the monitor to your graphics card. So regardless of whether you have an AMD or NVIDIA GPU, any gaming monitor we recommend will work just fine with it. For console owners, the good news is that with the PS5 changes in early 2023, the PS5 joins the Xbox Series X and S in being able to use FreeSync over HDMI 2.0, which virtually every modern 1440p gaming monitor has. Let's jump into our recommendations for best 1440p gaming monitors. Now, all the recommendations are linked down in the video description below by category. And we're going to update those deals daily as things do sell out and new deals pop up. So check out the video description for current best deals. Deals listed with a fire emoji in front of it, those are particularly good ones in that category, and they might sell out or change. And if there's 2 fire emojis, that means it's a fantastic deal regardless of category. Let's start off with the best 1440p budget gaming monitor. That's right, budget gaming monitor. Although I will say mid-range gaming monitors have gotten so cheap, you really can't consider them budget. So I'm going to start off with an insane value, but I'm only finding this in the US right now. So you might want to check your local retailers. ASRock got into making gaming monitors. It's their very first gaming monitor lineup that they released. And the deals on these monitors are insane, especially given that these monitors, I've seen some really good, in-depth, trusted reviews saying these are phenomenal panels. They're VA, have a slight curve to them, but they've got like Wi-Fi management on them. They've got insane cable management. They have great picture quality to them, great response handling for a mid-range gaming monitor, but you're getting it for $194. And right now, ASRock is offering a rebate on them. They're as low as $164. Check the link out down in the video description. More than likely, if this were made by Acer or LG or anybody else who's a kind of name brand already in the gaming monitor, this would be a $350 gaming monitor, hands down. So this is an absolute great value in the US if you can get it. Let me give you my number 1 pick. This is really kind of the mid-range pick for 1440p gaming monitor, even though it's got a budget price at $249. That's the Acer Nitro XV272U. Insanely performative. Now, when this came out, it was originally $400. It was in that mid-range price, but the whole market's collapsed down, so all the prices have been cut. And this is my number 1 top choice if you've got $250 to $400. Acer Nitro XV272U. 170 Hz refresh rate, great color gamut on it, great peak brightness, very good ergonomics in terms of tilt and swivel on it, fantastic response times. It comes AMD's FreeSync Premium, but it's also G-Sync compatible certified. Now, it does have lower contrast, but that's always true of IPS panels. Again, flat IPS. If you are looking for an amazing 1440p gaming monitor, you want flat, you want IPS, this is the one to get. Let's go over a couple of alternatives that I would buy if I can't find that Acer monitor. Obviously, the Gigabyte M27Q-P or M27Q-Pro that's been marketed both ways, completely out of stock. And if it was in stock, to me, it's absolutely the equal of the Acer. Maybe even slightly better just because of the KVM switches where you can plug multiple devices into the same keyboard mouse. I really like that. If you don't really care about that, then they're probably just absolutely equal. I wouldn't necessarily pay too much more than $250. This typically sells anywhere from $279 up to $329. Anywhere in that range, it's a pretty good deal. Doesn't quite outclass the Acer, but again, good alternative if you can't find it. Right now, it just happens to be completely out of stock. Another monitor that was overlooked because it was way too high priced when it came in. It came in at $400 US. Now it's much more reasonable, $279. It's the Samsung G58. This is a 27-inch. It says 4K. It's not really 4K here. It's actually a 1440p gaming monitor. Sorry, Amazon. Fix your description here. It's 165 Hertz. It's G-Sync compatible. It's got AMD FreeSync on it as well. Really good panel, flat IPS, unlike the previous Odyssey series, which were all curved VA panels. The new ones are all flat IPS. Really do like this one. And honestly, if you can't find either of the other two monitors, I would snap this one up. Now there's a number of other monitors I'll leave linked down in the video description. You can check out the current pricing. The Gigabyte M27Q, the non-pro version, the only thing I don't like about this is the text clarity just isn't as good as the other monitors. If you're just gonna game and that's all you're gonna do with it, then go ahead and snap this up if you can't find the other ones. But if you're also gonna use this as a desktop monitor, I would really try hard to find one of those other ones, or check the links down in the video description, see what I'm recommending right now. Let's jump into the best 240 Hz 1440p gaming monitor. So these are 240 Hz or higher. Note, I am gonna go over some OLEDs that are 240 Hz later in the video in the OLED section. They really begin at more like $900 to $1,000. The monitors I'm gonna show you here are anywhere from like $500, $400 up to about $600 instead. Let's start off with mentioning the Gigabyte M27Q-X. Has been out of stock. This had been my top recommendation. Really, really great panel. If you can find it in your area, that's great. If it comes back into stock, again, I'll leave a link to it down in the video description. You can check it out, see if it's come back in stock. It has great motion handling to it, great color, really low input lag. This is a phenomenal. Now, I will show you some better ones, but honestly, for the price, if you can get this around that $400, that $399 it was selling at, it's like an insta-buy. Let me show you what's actually in stock right now. The Samsung Odyssey G7, that's right, the same 1440p 240 Hz curved VA panel I have been recommending forever since whenever it came out in 2020. It still remains, in my estimation, one of the best gaming monitors probably ever designed, but currently on the market. It has insane contrast. The response times are amazing on this panel. Samsung just really kind of broke the mold when they did this design. Right now for $499 for the 27-inch, I think it's like $599 for the 32-inch. Note, I had been recommending the Odyssey G6. That's just the updated 2023 version of this panel. But the G6 right now is selling for kind of silly prices. I'll leave both of them linked down in the video description. Just know that they are functionally the same monitor, and I would get either one, whichever one's cheaper. If you're somebody who absolutely has to have flat IPS, or Jason, I will not deal with curved monitors, then the Alienware AW2723DF is hands down the best flat IPS high refresh rate monitor. We're talking 240 Hz or above. You can overclock this to 280 Hz. I think it kind of gets a little weird in terms of some ghosting. I would just stick with the 240 Hz. Really, really good. AMD FreeSync Premium Pro on it. NVIDIA G-Sync as well. I believe that's compatibility. Really, really great monitor. You cannot go wrong with any of the monitors I've just shown you. This is the one that I would pick if I can't get the M27Q-X and I wanted flat IPS, I would be buying this. Now this monitor is currently selling for $549. I would buy it anywhere all the way up to $600-ish. All right, let's jump into the best ultra-wide 1440p gaming monitor. Just note, these are not OLED panels. We will have an OLED recommendation in the OLED section if you're willing to spend about $1,000. These are more like $350 up to $450. Let's start off with my number one recommendation, which is the Gigabyte M34WQ, currently selling for $399. That is an unusually low price for this monitor. Fingers crossed that that price sticks, but I would buy this all the way up to $450, which is about its normal price. Really nice. It's flat, IPS. It's got great motion handling. Just everything that you've come to expect out of this generation of Gigabyte's IPS panels. 2 thumbs up on it overall. It has the KVM gaming switches. It's got a couple of HDMI ports, a couple of USB ports, and it's got a USB Type-C, which is super nice for you productivity users out there. So overall, this is my number one recommendation, anywhere from like $399 up to $450. I note there is a curved version of it as well, G34WQC. This usually sells for more like $320, and the other one's usually more like $450. So there's typically a larger price gap. At that price gap, it's probably worth it to get the cheaper one if you don't mind a curved VA panel. You do lose the KVM switches. Overall, I really like the flat IPS one, but if you're looking to kind of reach up and you don't have as much money, I would check out this one. And very similar, the Dell S3422DWG, another good 1440p ultra-wide curved VA panel, kind of on par with the Gigabyte one that I just showed you. Currently selling for $349, so it's probably the cheapest of the bunch. It's a little bit older, but still very, very good. 144 Hertz refresh rate panel, $349. Let's jump into the best 1440p OLED gaming monitor, and I got 3 here for you. I got 2 at 27-inch, and then I've got an ultra-wide for you. And the 2 I'm going to show you here at 27 inches, they use the exact same panel, the same panel. So they are very, very close together. You can decide which one you want. I'm talking, of course, the Asus ROG Swift PG27AQDM, and then we've got LG Ultra Gear. Again, same panel, just different setups and different implementations of the panel, so there's some small differences in there. Let's start off. First of all, the similarities. 240 hertz refresh rate, 2 thumbs up there, and they're both OLED. That means you're going to get incredible HDR, incredible contrast, near instantaneous response times for it. And I will say in the newest implementations of these OLED monitors, because I have an LG C1 OLED, look, it's annoying when it auto dims itself because I'm using it as a desktop basically, and it starts to overheat a little bit, so it starts to dim itself. The newer OLED monitors like this don't do that anymore because they've figured out basically better cooling for these panels, which is 2 thumbs up there. Now let's talk a little bit about the differences. $9.99 for the Asus ROG Swift. It's got all the cool gamery features to it. It's got this like projected logo that goes on your desk. Slightly higher brightness than the LG. What does the LG have over the Asus model? Look, it doesn't look as gamery, right? It looks much more standard monitor. It has HDMI 2.1 if you want that instead of the HDMI 2.0 that Asus put on their monitor. Slightly lower input lag, not a ton of differences, and it sells for $929, sells for $70 cheaper. That's really the difference between these two monitors. You can make the decision. Honestly, you cannot go wrong with either one. It's really nitpicking one way or the other. So just decide which one you like best. If you're looking for more screen real estate than a refresh rate, then let me direct you in one of two options. Either you can go 4K 120 hertz for about $800. It's like the AORUS FO48U. It's a 4K gaming monitor. We went over it in our best gaming monitor 2023 video. That's a good option. But if you're looking to stay 1440p, you still want more frames than 120 hertz. The Alienware AW3423DWF, 165 hertz refresh rate, slightly different than the panel that originally came out. That one had a G-Sync module in it, sells for like $1,200. It's kind of redonkulous. $899 right now at the time of filming. This is an unusually good sale price it's on right now. Typically, you'll find this anywhere from about $1,000 up to $1,100. Still good deal at that price. One thing I really like about this monitor, in addition to its motion handling, it's got all the pluses of OLED that we've already talked about. I won't go over them again, is I love the USB hub setup on it. It's right underneath the front of the monitor. It's just like everything about this is very intelligently designed, super high quality monitor. This is my top pick for best ultra wide as well as the best OLED gaming monitor if you want more screen real estate. Remember, check out those links down in the video description for updated pricing and availability, as well as updated deals that we find. And of course, if you got value out of the video, please give it a like, as it makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe, click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. And we'll catch you on the next one.